So Patty's giving you the tour of what we call our small garden, or the barn garden. Now here we are in the big garden. It was already the big garden, but we expanded it by about 8,000 square feet. So now it covers about a total of 9,600 square feet. And as you can see, we planted a tractor and it's already producing fruit. No, I'm kidding. That's Tomas's little moto, as he calls it. When he's not helping us garden, he's taking a spin on his moto out here. Looks like the rain beat the corn down a good bit. Patty's out there picking some goodies. As soon as she gets done with that, we're going to give you a little tour of the big garden as it stands so far. By the way, you notice it's full of grass? Yeah, well, we've already talked about that. It's rained and rained and rained. We didn't get in here. We couldn't get in and stay on it to stay ahead of it, so this is what we got. But at least we know the soil is alive.
Well, the first thing I'm going to show you in our big garden is our spaghetti squash. One thing we need to come out here and do is to put a couple more lines of, we use old hot wire, but see, our spaghetti squash is coming along really good. I think this is the best I've ever done with spaghetti squash so far. I've got lots and lots of fruit on the vine, so they're going to get 2 or 3 times that big, and they'll turn yellow when they're ripe. So we really enjoy spaghetti squash. I'll just do it up and use it for noodles sometimes in spaghetti. I make a eggplant parmesan that we love it in, and I also would just saute onions and butter and mix it with it after I've baked it. So it's very good, very versatile.
I remember the first time we had the spaghetti squash, the only thing you got to be aware of, and it's kind of fun to sometimes trick people and let them think they're eating pasta, and then it crunches. So yeah. It's got, if you can get past the texture though, it's delicious. And
yeah, it's got a little bit of a crunch. Not too bad though. It's
no, not too bad. But
when you're expecting it anyway, it's not too bad.
Right. When you think it's pasta, it's pretty crunchy.
This is some sunflower seeds that I have planted right here down the row, and we have the hot wire there also to help give it a little support, because sunflowers will get tall and will want to tend to fall over. So, and it's really helped because we've had a lot of wind. I don't know if Tommy spans out there, you can see the corn that we've planted, and it really has taken a beating with the rain and the wind. And so my sunflowers would look the same way had I not had the little 2 rows of hot wire there. Beyond the corn is our cucumbers, and we'll go over there next. This is our cucumbers. This first is Sayo long, S-A-Y-O, or something like that, long cucumbers. They get about from my wrist to my elbow, and they're very tender. They stay, very slender, very small seeds. They're burpless. They're very good. I used to do the Japanese long. I can't get seeds for those anymore. I didn't save seeds to have. I do prefer the Japanese long, but these are a close second to them. Then right here, this is a new cucumber I'm trying. I don't know the name. I can tell Tommy, he can put it on the screen. Can you come right here, Tommy, and get this? Here's one right here, and I missed it when I was picking a while ago. It's a to make whole pickles out of, and that one's ready to be picked. You pick them about that size, or maybe even a little bit smaller than that. And then I have another variety of cucumbers that I've planted. I don't know if you can hear, we're actually sloshing through standing water. We've just really had a lot of rain. And the other cucumber that I've planted, it's a smaller green cucumber, and I honestly haven't got any of it yet. I don't know if I'll plant it again. We'll see what kind of cucumber it makes. Here's a little baby one, because it is. They were all.
A little bigger one right ahead of your hand coming through the fence.
I'm not seeing it. Where? Right here?
Yeah.
That right there. It'll depend on how it turns out. It is definitely taking a lot longer. I started all these from seed in the greenhouse.
At the same time, right?
Yeah, at the same time. And so these are just, the plants were the same size when I planted them out. These are just taking a lot longer to produce fruit. And then down beyond that, we'll have to see when they make their fruit. I can't remember which seeds. I planted some seeds in the ground, so that's why those are smaller down there. And then if you notice, the corn is kind of on top of, that's the other yellow squash that I was talking about earlier that I have planted down there. And then right over here, this is our white squash or patty pan squash right here, and it is really, I have never done so good or had so much success with white squash. I just picked it, and actually some got away from me. They were very large, but I'm going to cook them anyway. I may have to scrape out the seeds, I don't know. But I'm real excited about having a good crop of these. And this last row on this end of the garden is zucchini squash. I just picked 2 or 3 zucchini. It's not a very long row, but it'll be enough for some variety. We mainly eat yellow squash, but I hope to have some of this for the market also. This area right here where it's grass and fenced in, we're planning on planting our muscadines. I don't know if you can tell on the camera, but this land actually slopes down to the right a little bit, and so we didn't want to plant our garden here because of the runoff with the dirt and everything. So we're leaving this grass. We're going to plant muscadines here. We already have the plants. We just hadn't gotten around to planting them. But what we're going to do is mulch around them and everything to help where it won't erode.
And build a trellis.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, it's going to have a trellis and everything. But the main thing is we didn't want to till this ground and let it wash down the hill. Right here where you see it looks like just dirt is where we've planted our okra seeds. I hope they didn't wash away. I was looking down at the end of the row, and it does look like water has run there. I just talked about not wanting the muscadines to wash down. Well, I hope my okra didn't wash down. And if you look past the dirt where you'll see peas, that's pink eye purple hull peas. We have about 4 rows of them. I plan on putting some of those in the freezer, and there are also some will go to market. And then after that is pinto beans. I had never planted those before. I hadn't really thought about it, but we do like to make bean burritos, and I thought how neat it would be if we grew our own. And then beyond that is kidney beans or red beans, and I'm excited about that also because we do eat red beans and rice, and I'm excited to try them fresh. I've never eaten red beans or pinto beans fresh, so it'll be something different. And beyond that, we did put 2 more rows of okra over there. So, and then beyond that is I've left a little roadway where we can take our Polaris through to pick up the 5-gallon buckets of peas that I'm sure we're going to be picking, Lord willing. And if you'll span the camera over there, Tommy, where you can see where we were earlier, where the sunflowers are, you see that grassy area between the corn and the sunflowers. We're leaving that area free right now because we're supposed to be doing a tomato trial with Mississippi State with different organic fertilizers, but it's been so wet and so rainy that we've just been mowing the grass there instead of tilling it because we couldn't get in it to do it. So
yeah.
And it's standing water. You can't see it right now, but there's actually standing water in there. So
we're excited about that because they're planning on planting 100-something plants, I think.
Yeah,
and,
yeah.
And we get to keep the maters.
Yeah, and it'll extend our harvest. And I lost my tomato plants that I was going to plant about 2 weeks ago, just to have some coming on a little further on in the summer, because I didn't water them in the greenhouse and they died. So
yeah, but the problem is we keep talking. It's Dr. Bill Evans with the Mississippi State Truck Crop Experiment Station in Crystal Springs, Mississippi, and it seems like every week we talk about next week, but with the weather this week, I don't know if we'll be able to do it this week, and we're coming up on a sort of a no turning back point where, no, that's not right, a drop dead date where if we can't get it done, we just may have to back it up to late July or something. And
yeah, we'll do some fall tomatoes, and which will be great also to have for the market, because our market goes at least in through August. And we won't always want to have a fall market if we have the produce for it. So
well, we want the produce at Alderman Farms whether there's a fall market or not.
That's right.